Hi, I'm Keegan Edwards with New Media Retailer. We're proud to be the website partner for House-Hasson. We build websites that drive sales for hardware stores, and we're really proud of this program we've put together in tangent with House-Hasson to help independent retail stores, independent hardware stores grow their business online. Hey everyone, how you doing? Good, we're doing well. It was easier getting in this time than it was last year for anyone who made it last year, right? Yeah, so we're thankful for that to get started. So big thank you to everyone for being here. Really appreciate it, appreciate your time, and really excited to present this seminar to everyone today. So a little bit about us and background kind of before I get started. We're New Media Retailer. We're proud to be a partner of House-Hasson, so there's kind of three things I want to talk about. First, we build websites that drive sales for hardware stores. So lumberyards, hardware stores, rental centers, we're really proud. That's what we've been doing and working on. Our entire goal and focus of our company is to build a website that drives sales for your business and helps you grow your business. We're really thrilled to be partners with House-Hasson. They've been a tremendous partner to us, and believe me when I say they're really focused on the success of the independent hardware store. We've been working with independent hardware stores since 2009, so we're going on our 14th year of experience doing this. We've learned a lot during that time, and I'd love to share some of that knowledge and the things that we're seeing working across the board today. And then we're a customer service-based business, so everyone who works with us has a specific account manager. It's that person's role to work with your store all the time, to pay attention to what's going on and make sure we're doing the things that help you drive sales. So, to get started. Your website works for you or works against you. And that's really the biggest thing that I wanted to start and kick off with, because we have to think about the fact that we have those websites online all the time, right? Day and night, 24/7. And that's either doing things to attract customers to your store on an ongoing basis, right? That's either a vacuum in your local market that kind of sucks up those customers and brings them to your store, or if it's not being worked on, if it's not being paid attention to, it leaves the door open to competitors, big box stores, e-retailers to do the things that the customers are looking for that actually brings them to their business, right? So it's online all the time. That's a huge opportunity, but also a huge risk if it's not something we're paying attention to for our business. So what should a website be doing for your business, right? What are the things that a website can and should do for you? First and foremost, it's going to attract customers or it's going to deter them too, right? So how many people have had that experience where you're researching something online, you're thinking about buying something, you go to a great website, you're like, oh wow, this has the answers, this has the information I need, this had the pages I was looking for, or on the other side of the coin, you go to a website, you're like, this didn't really have what I'm looking for, right? I didn't have enough information here, let me keep Googling, right? That's the experience we have as a consumer. The second thing is it's either going to show up at the top of Google, right, for the products and services that you sell, or it's going to be buried beneath the e-retailers and the big box stores. And that's not at all what we want to happen for the independent retail store, for the independent hardware store and lumberyards. It's either encouraging customers to start shopping in your store, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today, is how do we get those customers from researching online to actually shop in your store, right? So your website, once they get there, it's either going to have those features that encourage them to take that next step and start buying from you in the store, or they're going to unfortunately leave without the answers and the information they were seeking, and again, go back to the web and get lost and potentially end up as somebody else's customer. Here's the great news. Most of you are probably getting, so the average is around 1,000. Most of you are probably getting around 1,000, some of you many thousands of people who are looking at your online presence all the time, making a determination about whether or not they want to shop with your business. That means as we're sitting here in this seminar, as we're over the next half an hour, there's a good chance that there are people in your local market who are going to your website for one reason or another and making a decision about whether or not they're going to come in to your business based off of the information they can find. So this strategy that I'm going to talk about is not based on anything other than that 14 years of experience that I've talked about. We're working currently with about 2,000 independent retail stores across the country, and these are the 5 points that we've paid attention to, that we've said these are the things that when we execute them well are the things that drive customers into this store. So why does this strategy work so well? It's based on the exact same strategies that make your brick and mortar store successful in the first place. So that's where that experience comes in, because what I'm going to talk about today is not say, oh, you have a great independent hardware store, let's build an Amazon website for your business, right? That's not the strategy that's going to work or make sense in a lot of cases. What we want to see happen is say, hey, why are these stores so successful in the first place, right? What are the factors that make an independent hardware store, lumberyard, rental center, why are they so successful in their local market? The website, let's just build that off of those same exact strategies, the things that they're doing well, and the website acts as a complement and extension of what already makes that a great business, because you all own really excellent local businesses. So what are those things that we identified? First and foremost, helping customers. In convenience hardware, helping customers, right? Greeting your customers when they come in the door. Saying, hey there, sir, how are you? How may I help you today? Hey there, ma'am, what project do you have going on at your home? What brought you in today? That's first and foremost, right? That's the thing that we've always competed on is service. It's one of the things that we've always been better at than big box stores, than e-retailers, is that service. Knowing our customer's name, you probably know about where they live in town, you know what their environment's like, you can help them better than anybody else can help them. Products. A lot of effort goes in, right? Buying all these great products from House-Hasson and then figuring out, okay, which products, all those P's of merchandising, right, that they teach you. Product, placement, pricing, promotion, a lot of effort goes into deciding, okay, how do I actually line up those products? Where do they go in my store? That's why we do things like planograms. A lot of attention in the store to that product experience that your customer is going to have. Make sure you meet their needs there, right? And then location. A lot of time went into selecting the location that you were in, making sure it was in a convenient, great location. You may do other things in your local geography, like put up billboards, things like that, to make sure that in your local market, you show up in all the places that are going to be convenient and remind people, hey, this is where my store is, right? You focus on that location. And then shopping. Once people get into your store, there's a lot of features of your store that encourage them to start shopping, right? Whether you have baskets, shopping carts, end caps, shelf talkers, promotions, holiday decorations, right? You focused on all of those features in the store that say, how do we encourage them to start shopping once they're here, right? Because that's what we want them to do. We want to sell products. And then finally, you review the information that's at your fingertips, and that's what you use to grow your business, right? Some of it's intuitive, and some of it comes from the information that you can gather from your POS data, from your profit and loss statements, from your bank balance, shipping information, turn on certain items, employee performance, and you use that information to grow your business. It's taking all of those same exact fundamentals and transitioning those things to what makes a great website for an independent hardware store. So when we talk about store location, it's ranking high in Google, and I'm really excited to show you some more details about that. So first and foremost, making sure that when somebody in your local market searches for the products or services that you offer, making sure that you rank as high as possible, because they're using that tool to decide where they're going to go shop, right? Products. Having your products, all that effort went into merchandising your products in the store, doing the same thing on the website. So images, descriptions, price, inventory, and then here's a big one that's really pretty exciting to talk about too, integrating those products with Google and what that does for your business once that happens. Helping customers, website chat, and pages of information, right? The actual information that they're looking for that's going to help drive them into the store. And then shopping. And again, not talking about just e-commerce transactions here. Our entire goal is to get people into your store, right? We want bigger ticket sales. We want people coming in more often. We want people coming in the door and say, hey, I didn't realize you sold this, right? I've been driving past your store over to the other part of town because I thought they had pet supplies. I didn't realize you had some pet supplies. You're closer to me, right? What makes that happen? The Googling process. So having the shopping features and having the features on there that get them actually shopping in your store from the website. And then finally, online analytics, right? So you may have heard about, all of the information, I'm looking for my phone here, that we have on the internet about how much people collect about the things that we do, right? It's a problem and an advantage in some opportunities, but there's a ton of information about how people are behaving on your website and in your store, right? So you can use that information in the same way you're using the information in the store. You say, hey, okay, here's actually why people are finding me. Here's the products they look at most often. Here are the things that they're actually searching for on my site that I don't carry. Maybe there's some demand in my market that I didn't realize. So using those analytics to grow your business next. So the first one, rank high in Google. Why does that matter? In 2020, and I used this survey because I really liked it and the way it was done, 93% of US consumers searched online for a local business. From this, they asked all those people, so it was a general question, how do you find local businesses or choose local businesses? The answer, 9 out of 10 people search online. 1/3 of people, so the next question was, now how often do you think you're looking online for a local business? 1 out of 3 people said every day, right? 1 out of 3 people said, when I'm interested in shopping a local business, I'm Googling, right, basically. I'm researching online to decide which local business I'm going to shop with. 3 out of 4 people searched weekly, right? So if they answer that question and said, okay, I probably find myself looking for a local business online. The way I make that decision is by searching, right? So here's why, and here's the thing I want to hone in on for us today. Can local customers find you when they go through that process? And that's something that we all need to really understand, because the flip side of this coin is that's the exact strategy that the big box stores and the e-retailers have used to pick customers from the backyards of independent retailers. They've thought about that process, and they didn't do 350 million mailers to get people to start buying from them. The Amazons, the Chewies, the e-retailers, they said, hey, we know where we can win. We know what's not being paid attention to is these local searches. And these searches in Google, we'll just show up there and we'll put all our effort into that so that when people in local markets look for those things, that's how we'll pick those customers out of the backyard, right? And what are people searching? You know, they may search your name, and hopefully you show up when they search your name. But here are the bigger ones. Here are the things that we're seeing happen across the board for those 2,000 retailers I was talking about. Hardware store near me, power tools near me, Milwaukee tools near me, gardening tools near me, right? The list goes on and on. Do you know what the most popular search is in Google? One of the highest, most searched things? Those two words, near me. It's one of the most popular searches in Google because all we have to do, right? I'm here in Nashville or anywhere I go is pull out this phone and say, anything I want, right? Restaurant near me, hardware store near me, power tools near me, gardening supplies, Milwaukee brand, DeWalt tools, doesn't matter. I just search near me, and then Google is going to present to me on this, here's where you should go buy that, right? And it happens thousands and thousands of times every minute, really. So that's, as I mentioned, the strategy that the big box stores and e-retailers have really grasped onto. And here's the answer that I hope many of us in this seminar and throughout the show can find here while we're at the show. And again, I have to thank House-Hasson. Again, I've said they're a big supporter. We actually have software, and it's free for anyone to come by the booth and get this while you're here at the show. But come by the booth, and we'll run a report to tell you for any searches that you want, so products you sell, parts of your business, things like that, how do you show up in Google when people search those things? And so I took this as an example. This was actually the most recent, it was the last week of December, the most recent hardware store that we were talking to in sales, and they asked us to run this report for them, right? So what this report means is each of these modules are a mile apart, okay? The store is right there, and they're in a town of 9,000 people. I also picked them because it could be representative of many of the markets that you're in. And so I think that many of the assumptions get made that, hey, Google just knows, right? If people search these things, Google will just know that I have that. But it doesn't happen magically, and it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you take the actual steps to let Google know and work on an ongoing basis. I have these things, show my business when people search for them. So this is typical when we run these reports for people. If you are, they told us, we asked them, I said, okay, what products are important to you? What things do you care about selling? They said DeWalt tools, right? They brought in a bunch of DeWalt tools. It was an important part of their business. They said, we got to rank for that, right? That'll help us sell those products when people in the area are searching for them. So we ran this report, and again, Google knows exactly where you're standing, so this is all around their town. If you're standing in their store and you search for DeWalt tools, they come up number one. You're already in their store. If you go a mile away from their store in any direction, they're now off the page. So it says 7, but you're probably familiar with, hey, you get like 3 results, right? And then you got to click next, and you're not. So they're down below everyone else. Who's ranking ahead of them? It's kind of cut off here, but it's big box stores and e-retailers. So there is a local competitor here. In the next town over, there's a big box store, and then there's e-commerce sites. So any customer, if they're searching here, here, or a mile around the store, 2 miles, 3 miles around the store, and the search was DeWalt tools near me, store doesn't come up, right? And they're right there selling those products. On the flip side of that, and the opportunity that you have is when you do pay attention to these things, and I picked a customer that was in a similar market, actually slightly more competitive because they're in the outskirts of Albany, but they're in this small town here, East Greenbush, similar population, similar market. This is the search tools near me, and this is their result, right? So instead of not ranking on the page at all, no matter where you are within 3 miles of the store, if you search for tools, they show up number 1, right? Number 3 right here as you get towards downtown Albany, capital of New York. So think about the difference that can be made in your business when you rank at the top of Google, when any consumer anywhere around your store for miles searches for anything that you sell, and you're the person Google tells to go buy from, right? So that's first and foremost. So come over, we'll run their free report for you. You can tell us anything that you want or you're interested in seeing how you're doing or is important to you to sell, and let's see how you're ranking across the board, right? The second thing, and the second part of the strategy, so first is making sure that your store comes up for all of these searches. The second thing is that online catalog that I talked about, and having a really high quality online catalog on your website, and then taking the step to integrate that into Google next. So what does that mean? I wanted to kind of stay on this slide for a minute so we could all look at it. This was last week in the suburb that I live in, and I just searched power drill near me. That's what the search is. First search I did, I just took a screenshot of it and I said I'll use that. So what happens when I search for power drills near me? Google takes anybody who's integrated their product catalog with Google, and they said this is who you should go buy from, right? That's what it told me to do. It said here's power drills, and you can see pick up in store. There's a couple stores here. There's Walmart. There's Home Depot, which would ship it, right? That wasn't even in the store. It doesn't have that marking. So it said here's a bunch of power drills, right? I'm a local consumer. I want to buy a power drill. When I'm searching that, Google said here's all the products. So I click on that. It would take me to their websites, right? Big box stores, e-retailers. The other thing that came up, so you can see Walmart, and I'll read this out, in stock, cordless drill. The stores that have integrated their catalogs with Google, Google says, oh, he's looking for a power drill. Great, these stores integrated their catalog with us. We know that they have power drills. These are the stores we'll show. Here's the sad and scary part. It's little, but I can share these slides. You can see these little red dots, right? These big ones are the Walmart and Home Depot that it's showing me. These little red dots, my house is about here. It's cut off from the screen. Those are independent hardware stores. Those are local independent hardware stores that have not put an online catalog or integrated that catalog with Google, right? So for me as the consumer, and here, they're closer to my house than these are. These are about 18, 20 minutes away. I have to drive to a plaza. Those are closer, they're more convenience hardware neighborhood stores. And yet when I searched for power drills, Google told me to go to Walmart, to Home Depot, right? They told me these. They ignored these entirely. And why is that? Because they weren't integrated with Google. Here's the thing. With a customer, especially as you start talking millennials, Generation Z customers who keep going, their first thought is not, oh, well, the independent hardware stores around didn't integrate their catalogs or optimize their site for Google. They probably have it. I'll just drive there and go see. Right? That's not the thought that happens. They think, oh, I searched for this. Google said these are the places that have it. That's where I should go. I don't even know if the other people have it. Right? So that's the consumer journey that transpires in that situation. So why this matters so much? 82% of people research products online before buying in a store, right? So 8 out of 10 people, I'm sure we've all had that similar experience. Whatever it is that we want to go buy, the first step used to be maybe driving to the store. It used to be calling. Now it's pulling out that phone and just searching, right? Doing that online product research there, and then deciding where you're going to go, right? If they don't think of your store in that process, then what do? They Google the product, right? Just like we just saw, and these are the types of results they get. If they do think of your store, great. And that does happen, where they think, oh, I know the local, let me just go straight, type in the web address for the local hardware store, let me check it out there. And that's why we need to have products, prices, and inventory by location, because that's the next step that they're taking. If they don't see that, then they go back into the funnel and do this. Say, okay, I went to their website, but I don't see that they had it. Let me go jump back into it and do the search all over again and see what happens there. And that's where we lose them, right? And we don't want that to happen. So again, thanks to House-Hasson, and we're really, really excited about this partnership. There's a whole program to connect to your point of sale, integrate everything so all your products, prices are merchandised and flow up onto your website for you. In addition to that, there's a 55,000 SKU warehouse product catalog add-on that you can add to your website that can showcase all of the things available for special order through House-Hasson. Really fantastic program. The other thing too is we built the integration to Google, so any store that comes along, signs up for the program, we execute that POS to website system, and then we integrate your products into Google so that when people are searching for those things in your local market, it's your products that show up, it's your store that shows up, it's your website, as opposed to the big box and e-retailers. So the next step in the process is talking to the customers, right? And we have to think about this one pretty critically. So this is a website chat box, and we're all probably familiar with that at this point, right? So why does the website chat box matter? 41% of customers prefer live chat over any other form of communication, and that's of all consumers, right? So as we start to think about millennials and Gen Z, which Gen Z is probably about 20 years old, right? The same way we were talking about millennials not too long ago. That's that next up-and-coming buyer, that next up-and-coming consumer, right? They're going to be buying houses. They're going to be going into the buying. They prefer it even higher numbers, higher percentage, right? So although we might think, oh, do I need chat on my website? Do we want it? We have yet to see a store that puts chat on their website that does not have it be used by their customers on a consistent basis. And the reason for that is because, you know, it's a pretty easy channel, right? It's easy. You just go to your website. It's instant, accessible anywhere. If they have a question before driving to the store, if they want a little clarity on inventory or price, they can just get that clarity and confirmation right there on the spot. And I want you to think about in the context too, because I know these new things can be intimidating, and it's one more thing we got to think about. How do we manage? Who's responsible for answering? Totally get that. But let's think about if you didn't have a phone number, right? The percentage of people that like calling on the phone, experiencing customer service that way, are saying, I don't like to do emails, so I don't have an email address for them, right? As we think about this customer, we don't want to be outcompeted by the big box stores and e-retailers who do have chat on their website, knowing that that's the form of communication that people want. We know that we compete on service and helping customers, so by having your website filled out with the information they need and then giving them the opportunity to talk to you instantly, again, puts you ahead because you're more knowledgeable than who they're going to be talking to with most of the e-retailers and big box stores, right? So give yourself that same opportunity. And here's the thing. With that website chat, you can turn it off, right? So you don't have to stay up all night, right, answering website chats. You can turn it off at night. You get a push notification on your phone. You can start chatting with someone. You can enable store employees, things like that to do it. And it's actually an advantage, too. If you want to keep it on at night when the store's closed, it's a good way to capture people who are kind of planning for the weekend or the next day, right after the kids are in bed. And then you can set up auto responses when you're busy. So again, really thrilled about this program. It's usually that costs anywhere from $15 to $50 a month to get a chat widget on your website. It's just included by in the program through House-Hasson too, which is really nice. Getting customers shopping. So after you've done all that hard work of getting your customers to your store, right? They found your store in Google, or they found your products, you got them to your website, they started looking around, you started helping them, right? They had a question or something, you're driving them down that funnel even further. Now, how do you get them shopping in your store, right? Not talking about e-commerce transaction, I'm talking about how do we get them in the store from there? And why does that matter? 76% of Americans now regularly shop online, 50% prefer to shop in a store. That's great news, and we know that, and you've probably experienced that, right? I like shopping in store. I'm sure many of you do as well, and 50% of consumers still say, hey, yeah, I can shop online. I still prefer to go into a store, right? So what does the website need to do at that point that actually encourages them to come into the store next? So again, we talked about at the start of this, your website has to complement the store, right? It should be all about that. So I want you to think a little bit about the different parts of your business and the things that you're doing. Successful strategies that we've seen, order online, pick up in store, right? That's one that we've all experienced. That became big during the pandemic, right? Actually place a transaction and you get the payment and then you have the products ready for the customer. But there are some other ones that are getting really interesting and exciting. So we got a brand new feature called the shopping list. This was actually developed with Taylor, the House-Hasson team. They kind of sparked this idea for you all. What the shopping list feature is, and we're seeing this get a ton of use, same way that you hand somebody a cart when they come in your store, right? It's just giving them that cart. It's not to check out, but to plan what they want to purchase. So we know in this, there's a project-based business, right? So a lot of those people, whether it's spring yard care, right? And I've got to overseed my lawn or something. So I'm going to need fertilizer. I got to check, maybe I need a new rake. Maybe I need soil, whatever those things are. Now I can start walking through the site, walking through that online product catalog, and just build my shopping list for when I come into the store, right? That's a feature that gets them from just looking at an informational website, hey, start shopping, right? Start thinking about coming in and making this purchase at my store. Then they can email it to themselves, and we now have people find it. Yeah, if people are in there, they've emailed it themselves, they pull it up, they walk around the store, they planned everything that they wanted ahead of time, right? And many of you may have used a feature like this in your shopping experiences too. Express ordering, so if contractors are a part of your business as well, so if you have contractors or you have house accounts for things, letting people actually place the order, but not actually charge them, right? You'll bill them afterwards, right? Because they have a house account, if they're a contractor-based business or things like that, let them actually just place an express order. We've actually just heard this from the contractors. We actually went out and talked to contractors, said, hey, what do you wish you had on your lumberyard site or your hardware store site? Well, I know what I want. I'm on the job site. I pull out my phone. I just want to, basically send in what I need at the job site, right? And I know they'll bill me, but I can't check out on the site or they don't have products. What I want is to be able to pull out my phone and say, oh, I need some more supplies for this project, place the order, right? And just know they'll bill my account and then they'll have it ready for me and we can communicate what happens next with my outside sales reps or things. So if contractors are part of your business, matters there. Bulk orders, farm and feed, if you service farm supplies, things like that, it's also a great opportunity to have those bulk orders get placed on your site too. Request a quote and request availability. So if you do any rental products, things like that, request a availability of an item, right? People know they want something for a certain date and time. Can they place that order or request the availability of that heavy machinery or things on your website? And then you just tell them when it's available and finish the order. And then request a quote. So again, for lumber, any services that you offer, being able to plan the materials that they need and actually request a quote on your website too. So that's what I'm talking about in taking the next step, right? With the website, it's not about e-commerce and shipping or those types of things. The things that we're seeing be successful are when we say, okay, my store came up, right? No matter what product or service they searched in my local area, it was my store that came up. No matter what product they searched, it was my products that were in Google. Then they got to my website. They had some questions. I chatted with them right there, right? It was really easy for them to get the answer that they needed. And then I encouraged them to start shopping in whatever way made sense and not shopping as like, this is an Amazon website, shopping as an extension of my store in my local market, right? So those are the strategies that are working really well. And then all of these features are included. They're all available in the program that's been developed in tangent with House-Hasson for you all too. And then finally, using analytics to grow your business. Why this matters, we've seen this be two things for folks. We've seen this be both a guiding light. So what I mean by that is there's information that you can glean from online behaviors that you're not going to see anywhere else, right? So you can see, hey, which products are getting a ton of people looking at them, but I don't sell that much of that product. Why is that? Should I think about my pricing? Should I think about the way I'm merchandising those? Hey, a bunch of people are going to my website and searching for grills. I don't sell grills, but people think that I do, right? So they go to my website, they're searching for grills. I see 100 people a month search for grills. Maybe that's something I need to think about bringing into the store, right? There's demand in my market and they're assuming that I have it. They go to my website, search on my website, and see I don't carry it, right? So it's a great way to develop that sense of demand. And then the canary in the coal mine too. So if all of a sudden you see your traffic start to drop, or you see products not being picked up, or you see a drop in availabilities or quotes or curbside pickup orders, any of those things, you sort of say, hey, what's going on here? Is there a big box store running ads? Is there a competitor in the next town over that's focused on these things? Are e-commerce sites all of a sudden running ads targeting some of the products I sell? Why are these things dropping off? And it gives you the opportunity to say, okay, before this actually hits my P&L, I can stop it at this point, right? I can figure out what's going on and make an adjustment to grow my business. So the way this should work, ideally, is a monthly report that you get that tells you about what's happening with the site, right? What the progress, what the growth, what the changes are. And then, just like I mentioned, here's some of the things that you can learn, right? What's being viewed in your online catalog? What else do people want to buy from you? What are they searching that they can't find on your site? Are they looking for pet supplies, right? That's, over the last 10 years, a piece that many hardware stores started selling. That could be something that you could notice early on, right? And start to say, hey, people are checking this out on my website, looking to see if I also have pet supplies. Getting 100 searches related to pet supplies a month, maybe that's a department I can bring in my business. Could be sporting goods, could be anything, right? It helps you determine where are my local customers not being served right now. So there's a ton of information to be gleaned. And then I wanted to show you an example of one of the reports too, just so you could check out what this looks like. So again, this is that independent hardware store that I showed you that is in East Greenbush, New York, right? They're in that smaller town, that suburb. Here's what their report looks like, and here's why I'm pressing these points, because it makes a huge impact. So this here, and I'll read it out because I know it's small, 4,159 local customers found your store through Google searches, right? That's in a small town, right? So when you focus on this and you think about the impact of searching really well for everything that you have, this is how many people find you. This is how many people called their store after a Google search, 564. That's how many people clicked on the directions and drove right to the store, right? Because we're doing it on our phone after seeing that. Here's the searches, here's the website visits from search, and I just took a screenshot. Again, come by the booth, because there are customers who've given us permission. We can scroll through. It's really amazing, and you'll see all of these product and service searches that people are getting found for, and then it leads that business right into theirs, right? So all these different searches, what people search for that led to your business, like what you're ranking at the top of Google for in your market, all these thousands of searches that then get you found and get those customers coming to your store in your local markets. It's really been amazing. And then thanks to House-Hasson, this can all be taken care of for you too. So this whole program, this whole strategy, taken care of for $9 a day, right? So that's the cost. It's $300 a month. And we do all of that for you, right? Connect your point of sale system, integrate it into your website, keep it all up to date, give you a specific account manager who takes care of it, integrates that into Google, works on your search rankings to grow them until you're at the top for everything. Think about what you can get and the value that you can get by spending that money on advancing the marketing in this way, right? And then just one last recap about us, because we've talked a lot about the website strategy today. We also offer marketing services that have similarly been put together in tangent with the company: Google Business Profile, social media, Google Ads, and then again, want to mention that 55,000 SKU hardware catalog, because it's a really fantastic way to showcase all of these products that you can make available to your customers. So really appreciate everyone's time today. Covered a lot. Recap that strategy, right? Make sure your store's showing up. Make sure your products catalog is online and integrated with Google. Think about getting that website chat widget on there. You're going to see it used. It's going to help you get customers in the door, right? And then once you have all that put together, think about the features of your website that need to be there that are associated with how people shop your store. Integrate those features, build on those features so that you can get them actually in the store, and then check on how it's working, right? Use those analytics, because it's just like the same way you pull that POS data or you pull that information from any other part of your business. Make sure you pull the analytics too. It's going to tell you a story about what opportunities there are to grow your business. So thanks. Please stop by and get that free Google report. It can be of a huge value to you. Thanks. Appreciate everyone's time.